evading the law, flying under the radar, and feeling no remorse for your deeds are commonplace for serial killers. So, why would one Minnesota slasher who left police with no witnesses or evidence to his crimes want to play such an unusual cat and mouse game? This is Lights Out. On the 31st of December, 1980, Karen Potak, a student at the University of Wisconsin at Stevens Point, was out celebrating the new year with several friends. With the nightclub they had been partying at nearing close, Potak's friends realized she was no longer with them. Karen had wandered out of the bar at 12 a.m. into the harsh winter temperatures, well below freezing. As she was strolling through an alleyway, she encountered a male driver, who offered her a warm car and a promise of a ride home. The heavily impaired and frigid Potak couldn't resist such an offer, and she eagerly jumped in. The police received the following call at 3 a.m. that morning.
Please, there's an ambulance too. There's a girl hurt there.
Can you tell me what happened to her?
Just hurry. She's laying on the ground in the back by the railroad tracks, by the edge here. Hurry.
What's the address?
I don't know.
The police responding to the call made their way to Syndicate Street North, St. Paul, near Malberg Manufacturing. There laid Karen Potak, left for dead in a snowbank, but hanging on for life. She had been stripped and bludgeoned with a tire iron. She sustained wounds to her head and neck, leaving her brain exposed. She was then rushed to the hospital, surviving, but she experienced brain damage and remembered nothing of the attack. The police deemed that this was an attempted murder, due to the ferocity of Potak's wounds. The police were stumped, and with no witnesses and no evidence left by the attacker, nothing came as a result. The only person who wanted to help the police was the man responsible. On the afternoon of June 3rd, 1981, a group of teenagers were playing in a field near a freeway construction site in St. Paul when they discovered the body of a young woman, Kimberly Compton, a recent high school graduate who had moved to Wisconsin in search of a job. She was eager to start the new chapter of her life, unknowing of what was to come. Compton, famished from her long day of traveling, spotted Mickey's Diner across from the bus depot. She headed inside, ordering the day's special, barbecue beef and fries, and sat down in a booth. A man noticed her sitting alone and offered some company. Kimberly, new to town, was delighted when the local offered to be her personal tour guide, telling her about the amazing sights they could see. With the promise of an exciting adventure, the two left the diner. Several hours later, the police received this call.
Oh, you find me? I just stabbed somebody with an ice pick. I can't stop myself. I keep killing somebody.
Compton had suffered wounds to her chest, stomach, and inner thighs. The medical examiner determined she had been stabbed a total of 61 times with an ice pick, matching the murder weapon the anonymous caller had said to have used. Soon after, on June 11th, the local police had received another call.
Don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry what I did to Compton. I couldn't help it. Don't know why I had to stab her. I am so upset about it. Try not to kill anybody else.
Police hoped to match the killer's unique voice to other unsolved crimes. They listened to the backlog of audio recordings from the station. After coming up with only false leads, the police decided to release the audio from the anonymous calls to the media.
A special direct line has been set up now, and the police are asking anyone with any information on this case to call.
Officials say at this point they have not been able to positively identify the voice of the caller.
The killer earned a new name, the Weepy voice killer. With no significant progress in the case, it soon grew cold. Barbara Simmons had been having a night out at the Hexagon Bar in Minneapolis on August 6, 1982. The 40-year-old woman was said to be having the night of her life, reportedly dancing on the bar, chatting with a man she had just met, and overall seemed to be enjoying herself. One waitress reported to the police that Simmons had told her, "I hope this guy's okay, because I just need a ride home." The waitress saw the two leaving together. A paperboy doing his routine deliveries spotted a woman's body along the banks of the Mississippi River. She had been beaten and stabbed. The circular wounds left on the victim's body were speculated to be made by a screwdriver or ice pick. Soon, a call came in.
Fire emergency.
Please don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry, I killed that girl. I stabbed her 40 times. Kimberly Compton was the first one over Facebook. Oh, I don't know what's the matter with me. I'm sick. I'm going to kill myself, I think.
Where are you?
I'm just going to... If somebody dies with a red shirt on, it's me. I killed both of them.
With the new information present, police knew they had a serial killer on their hands. Officers dug through mugshots of offenders with a history of violent assault, narrowing them down to an 8-photo lineup based on the witness's suspect description. Detective Brown had the bar staff go through the mugshots. After looking through the photos, they were able to identify the man who was with Simmons as Paul Michael Stefani. With the man's identity found, they were able to link that Paul worked at Malberg Manufacturing, where Karen Potak had been attacked on New Year's Day. The police department finally had a break in the case. With the suspect's identity being revealed, they were able to issue a surveillance team to watch over Stefani's apartment complex. In the evening of August 20th, 1981, they witnessed the man leaving his residence, but soon lost track of him. Hours later, the police received a call from a man who had witnessed a woman being stabbed with a screwdriver. The man tried to intervene, but was threatened by the man and fled. The woman was 21-year-old Lady of the Night Denise Williams. She was lured into the car by the man. However, sensing danger was afoot, she looked around to find anything that she could use to protect herself with. She found a glass bottle. The man pulled off the side of the road. However, when Denise tried to exit the car, the man grabbed her left arm and proceeded to stab her in the stomach with a screwdriver. Armed with the glass bottle she had found, she smashed the bottle over her attacker's head, shattering it, leaving deep gashes and blood gushing. This did not deter him from continuing to stab Denise, who continued to fight back. However, the attacker stopped when a man tried to save Denise, and he quickly fled the scene, badly injured. She had been stabbed 15 times, with wounds on her chest, abdomen, and head, as well as a punctured lung and liver. She survived the attack after being rushed into emergency surgery. After surgery, she was able to identify Paul Stefani as the man who stabbed her. Later, the police received a call from a man demanding an ambulance.
We need an ambulance.
Where?
1505 Westminster.
1505
Yes,
Westminster. What's the problem?
I'm all cut up. I got beat up.
What's your apartment number?
208, I'm bleeding.
208. Where are you bleeding from?
From my arm, my face, my head.
The paramedics and police were dispatched where they found their suspect, Paul Stefani, who claimed his injuries were as a result of a robbery gone awry. Paul Stefani was born September 8, 1944, in Austin, Minnesota, where he was one of 10 children born into a highly religious family. He was once convicted of aggravated assault and had a history of mental illness. Detective Brown confronted Paul with the Weepy voiced killer case file containing photographs of the victim. Stefani said, "You aren't going to pin that on me," denying all attacks and any accusations of him being the Weepy voiced killer. He was charged with the assault of Denise Williams, but originally pled not guilty to the murder of Simmons, as experts couldn't conclusively say that the Weepy voice heard in the 911 calls matched Stefani's. That's when Paul's sister was called up to the stand and listened to the recording of the Weepy-voiced killer and identified the suspect as her brother. After the 6-week trial, he was sentenced to 40 years in prison, along with the 18 years he had served for the attempted murder on Denise. In 1997, 17 years later, he wanted to come clean after being diagnosed with terminal cancer. He admitted to the murder of Kathleen Greening on July 21, 1981, a murder that police had not pinned on him prior due to the absence of a call. After battling skin cancer, he succumbed to the disease on June 12, 1998, inside the Oak Park Heights maximum security prison.